Look at May watching us.
Look at Dawn about to knock the camera over.
Great.
Dawn.
They're both like, why are they like this right now?
They love the show.
They're big fans of the show.
Yeah, they're both big fans.
Yeah.
And they really
We love our fans. What can we say?
They want some early access.
Well, you all, I was going to say friends, and I just said you all. We're still kind of feeling under the weather, so if we're
a little bit better than last time.
If our voices are a little crinkly cronkly, that could be why.
Then please enjoy the bonus ASMR. There you go.
But not in like a good way.
Well, maybe someone's gotta.
Yeah, someone likes it.
Somebody likes it.
Today we are going to be answering a question, and I actually got this question in our inbox like a week ago, and we have a lot of good questions right now that I've kind of been queuing up. We've been talking about, like, let's do this one and this one, but this one just came in last week, and as soon as I saw it, I had a very, like, emotional response to it, and I showed you, and so did you.
Yeah.
So we both thought, like, this would be a good one to do.
It's also relevant because we're sick.
Yes, absolutely.
So.
Would you like to read it, or do you want me to?
You read it. You've got the good voice.
We'll see. Okay, so it says, hello there. I love watching your videos. I'm also... Hello, Dawn.
There she is.
It doesn't say that in here.
No,
Dawn the
she's
cat
here.
just hopped up. I'm also a longtime fan of the ALB in Wonderland and ALB in Whisperland channels. Thank you so much for the new Days of Our Wives content. Thank you.
The
so
ALB family of products.
Oh my gosh. Kind of is now, isn't it?
Yeah.
My question is for both ALB and Niko. What does self-care mean to you? And do you have any self-care practices you'd feel comfortable sharing with us? Any advice for those just discovering the concept of self-care? Okay, so that was probably 3 questions. My bad. It's fine. It's all one. I am on a journey of self-care myself. Self-care is very important to me, and I love hearing about other folks' experiences. Thank you, Steph. Thank you, Steph, for that awesome question.
Thank you so much.
Yeah.
So
we both look at each other like, would you?
Well, no. Like, I feel like the last time we answered a question, I ended up taking a lot of the talking real estate
You
up.
had a lot to say.
I know.
There's not real estate when
That's fair.
we're just talking together, I think.
That's fair.
Yeah, I mean, this question I really appreciate, and I feel very strongly because of a lot of different reasons.
You had a very big reaction.
I had a very big reaction to this because, to me, self-care is both, as a concept, very important, and as a catchphrase, incredibly insidious.
It's very dangerous.
And let me explain, okay?
Yeah.
So I think that the concept of self-care has been kind of ruminating throughout the collective consciousness the past couple years, and the very core source of that is in a sincere, loving manner of which we should be taking care of ourselves and not pushing ourselves beyond our own means and things like that. However, I do feel that the last 1 or 2 years, the concept of self-care has been really latched onto by large corporations and big companies.
And also by, like, there's some unhealthy sentiments, too.
Yeah.
In addition to the...
I feel strongly that, unfortunately, like a lot of things, like the body positive movement, like the feminist movement, everything, concepts get latched onto by...
a very shallow version of the feminist
shallow version.
movement. We should clarify.
Yeah,
like,
not like...
Not legit feminism.
What I'm trying to talk about right
Yeah.
now is, like, a beauty product company selling you face masks and calling it self-care. Now, I want to be very clear. I don't think that doing face masks is inherently a bad thing to do, or that it isn't self-care. For some people, it really is. But what I'm talking about is brands using the branding and imagery, and specifically the phrase self-care, to sell products, to sell services to the general public.
To sell images of lifestyle, which I think is also, like, just kind of building upon that. Yeah. Sometimes it's not just a face mask. Sometimes it's, like, an activity.
Sure, yeah.
Or the concept of, like, I think about all the time that, what sitcom was it? The Treat Yourself sitcom.
Oh, Parks and Rec. Yeah. I'm really glad you brought that up.
I think about that a lot.
Because it is just what they're trying to say is treat yourself. Yeah,
but I mean, even that I think about... I don't know. I think it's just, like, it can go to extremes really quick. And I think that... and that's, like, the whole gag in that, is that it is...
For them in the show.
For them, it is extremes.
Yeah.
And I think, like, what's important is to be kind to yourself and to be really thoughtful about who is using the term self-care and why they're using the term self-care. I think that like self-care can also be, it's important that self-care, I don't know, this is a weird thing. I'm trying to like be very nuanced about this. Self-care can be selfish, but sometimes there's a line of selfishness with self-care.
Right.
Where like if someone needs your help, like if you've made a commitment where like things will fall apart without you, and you back out of that because of stress or anxiety,
right.
there's like a line of how consistent does that behavior become?
I see.
Are you, is it something where like self-care becomes backing out of things constantly? Then maybe it's the lesson is maybe I shouldn't put myself in these positions.
Well, but yeah, like, I mean, to speak to Steph's question too.
Yeah.
Like, Steph was wondering what self-care means for us individually, specifically.
And also advice for people. I think that's what we're kind of talking about now.
Yeah, and I mean, for myself, just to speak to my own experience, for me, because I'm someone who deals with chronic illness in a couple different strains, self-care for me is sometimes the idea of having a bubble bath and relaxing, but a lot of times, in my own experience, for me specifically, self-care comes down to saying no to things I really genuinely want to do because my body physically cannot do them. And I can give a very specific example. One of the things that I would love to be able to do is that when I do conventions, most of the time when I'll do a convention, like a comic convention or something, it's as a guest. And when you're at a con as a guest, you get invited to after parties and things like that where you can hang out and, rub elbows with other professionals, and it's a really exciting opportunity. For me, physically, because of the different things that I deal with and because of my own anxieties, if I did a whole day of a convention
and then did that
and then did an after party and then did another day, I would physically fall apart. Yeah. Even though I really want to do things like after party or even just having dinner with friends after a con, I have to say no, and it sucks.
But I think
it sucks.
It sucks. And I think the biggest thing is that sometimes self-care sucks.
Yeah.
And sometimes the biggest, I think for me also, the biggest thing for me is knowing my limitations and respecting them.
But it sucks, doesn't it?
It does suck.
Like, I get so heartbroken about it because, like, and I've even been told by other people that it's like, oh, they were, people were just, like, they think you don't want to go to these things. And it's like, I do want to do things, I just physically can't do everything, and it's hard, and it makes me sad to think about that. But it's like, if I don't do the things that I need to do to take care of myself, which is a very specific amount of sleep, if I don't get that, I won't be able to function.
Specific diet.
Yeah, specific diet, things like that. It's just it's the foundation that my physicality can exist upon, and if I don't really strengthen that foundation, and if I stretch it out and try to push myself to do all of these fun things
or have a cheat day,
I can't do that. It ruins all the dominoes get knocked over, and it's like, that's it, it's all gone to heck, and I can't do any of my commitments, and that makes me even sadder. So
but I think you said something that's really important, and it kind of goes back to, again, knowing your limits. And what I was talking about with self-care is you know yourself well enough to not put yourself in situations that then you have to self-care yourself out.
Yeah.
You know what I mean?
But it's happened before, I will say. But, I only have learned this by experience.
But that's the whole point is I think sometimes
I've messed that up so many times.
Sometimes self-care gets thrown around as a label, as an escape rope.
Right.
And it becomes this coverall of, like, in the name of self-care, I'm removing myself from this.
Okay.
And I don't think that's inherently wrong, but I think that it gets... You know what I mean? Like, I think it gets used in extremes.
It's so individualistic.
Yeah.
And we're talking about keeping yourself safe with self-care. But there's also the other side of self-care where for some people, it is an act of caring for yourself to actually put yourself out there and go do things that you don't necessarily want to do and have social interactions that aren't easy for you to do. But you know that the overarching goal of being better in whatever way that is for you would be improved by, be pushing yourself to do things you don't want to do, things like that. What's a little thing that you do for yourself that's self-care-ish?
A little thing I do for myself is I have a rule and this helps, I don't know, like we've talked, I live with depression and anxiety and PTSD. Got a bunch of good stuff going on. Something that really helps
all the blue eyes white dragon.
I've got all of them.
Sorry.
It was a good...
The cards were lined up.
It's good. One thing that helps me maintain kind of my own mental state is using my bed only for sleep and only for the intimacy love dance that the bodies of adults can do with their consensual body kisses.
Creating a sanctuary of your bed.
Yeah, so my bed is something where I don't go to my bed where I'm sad.
Okay.
Like, I try not to.
Like, I've noticed something about you is that you won't eat food in bed.
No, I don't eat food in bed. I don't... I don't know. I think it's really easy to do those things when you're not feeling good.
And you've done it in the past.
And I have done it in the past. Yeah. But it's something where, I really try and avoid it. Because for me...
That's what it would say.
If I do those things, it kind of lowers my overall...
The blurred lines between being in a good place and being in a bad place
it pushes me further into the bad place.
I see.
And... I think for me, that's a really, self-care is knowing that, pushing myself to not do that when I want to do that.
Don't stay in bed to do a different task. I've noticed you don't work in bed either. Sometimes I'll do work in bed.
Yeah.
I'll sit and draw in bed or be on the computer or whatever. But I've noticed you don't do that.
Yeah, I don't really like to do that. It's, for me, again, it's all so individualized.
It's so individualized. Yeah. Don't take us saying any of these things as you should or shouldn't do anything. Like I said, I do this stuff that you're saying you don't do. Because for me, I don't have that association.
It doesn't cause you
harm in some way.
And I think, again, it's one of those things where it would be a treat for me to, eat in bed.
Right.
Or do something like that. But I think just because it feels like a treat doesn't mean it necessarily is one.
It would put you in the bad place to do it. Even though at the time it maybe feels luxurious.
And I think that's, a lot of self-care. I see people use it when, they do retail therapy, and it's then you feel awful. Then it's oh, I've spent this money, and I felt better in that moment, but now I'm looking at my credit card bill, and I feel horrible. And I think that's kind of the where it gets dangerous.
I read this article many years ago, and it was so poignant to me that it stuck with me in a big way. So I'll try to find it, and if I can find the article, I'll put it in the description. But the thought of the article was, don't treat yourself with things that are actually not gonna treat yourself in the long term. Yeah. And one of the examples that they gave was that sometimes when you're feeling really run down, it's right before bed, you might think to yourself, I'm not going to brush my teeth before bed. I'm just going to go to bed. Because there's or not take my makeup off. I'm just going to go to bed. And it's that in the long term, and even the next day, you're not going to feel good about that. Yeah. So doing things that actually are bad for you as a treat is not that's not self-care to be no. I'm feeling tired, I'm just gonna let myself go. It's that's not actually
caring for yourself.
It's just easier.
Yeah.
But I think about that article all the time because I'm someone who always makeup routine before bed, always flossing, brushing.
You and I are very routine
based.
No, because I think there are things for me where I just can't. I could never, ever, doesn't matter how tired I am, doesn't matter how clean I am, mm-hmm. I could never go to bed without showering.
I think I've only seen you do that once in my whole life.
And I think I was violently sick.
You were very, very sick.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's something where, because at that point I was physically unable to.
Yeah. That was the only instance I've ever seen her not shower before bed, actually.
And, because I just will feel miserable if I don't.
Yeah.
And, yeah, I don't know. And, it's things, too, about... I know before I was living with you, it was cleaning bed sheets every week, and never letting that slip.
Because when you're just living by yourself, it's just you in your bed.
You don't have to clean it as much.
You don't have to clean it as much. Mm-hmm.
Yeah, exactly. And like, it's this thing too of not just cleaning it, but cleaning it in that one day, getting it clean and putting it back on the bed.
And not going to bed on a mattress that day.
Well, and that was kind of the thing is like, I always said that to you, is like, if there's ever a situation where I'm going to bed and the duvet cover isn't on the duvet, then that's probably a bad sign.
There's been times where that's happened.
But sometimes you know what? Sometimes it happens because of things outside of your control.
Yeah.
And that's that. Again, very specific. But like, if you're in a situation where you can and you don't.
Right, I see.
That's the thing where it's just like, what's going on there? Mm-hmm. But I think, again, that's for self-care is, again, I feel like I keep repeating it, but it's knowing your limits.
And playing within it.
Playing within it.
For myself, my own little small tangible, because I talked about my overarching self-care needs, but my little one that makes me feel good is I really like to have my nails done. That makes me feel really good about myself. It makes me feel neat and clean and tidy and good. And so...
It helps that you're your own manicurist.
Yeah, I would say if it was costing me money to do that, I think it might be more of a treat. But because I do it myself, and there's nothing wrong with treats.
Treats can be self-care. They
absolutely
but
can
also
be.
The line gets gray.
Yeah, it's so individual. But for me, because I do it myself especially, that's like I'll put on a so-so movie, like one that is only kind of
one
good.
You've seen before and don't super care about, but
and
like
then
don't
I'll
hate.
Just spend 2 hours just giving myself a really beautiful manicure, and it feels good to do that. Mm-hmm. I also really like, you know how I mean this. I like to do things by myself sometimes, too.
Yeah, absolutely.
I love doing things with you, but sometimes just going and doing something by myself is like...
Can be really, really
just
refreshing.
A little,
yeah.
You know what I mean? Because I think that what I like about you as my partner so much is that I need you, but
we're not codependent.
We're not codependent, and I know that you are with me because it's so much fun.
Yeah.
But like
I'm with you because you're my best friend.
Yeah,
but
that I know you're fine without me.
We're both fine without each other, and we both enjoy and get joy out of things without each other.
So it's kind of sometimes a little self-care to just be by myself for a little while and be up here with this guy.
Yeah. And that can be so huge. Having those things where this is going to give you what you need in that moment.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So anyway, about, circling back to the beginning, I hope that I was clear in what I was trying to say just about that. I am very wary of self-care TM, the brand of, especially when people are trying to sell you something under the guise of, if you buy or do this, it's self-care for yourself. And again, that's not to say that buying and doing things for yourself isn't self-care. Some people go get their hair done for self-care. Some people get their nails. And you know what I'm saying? But it's like being so aware of the messaging that's coming at you and ask yourself, who's benefiting from this, me or the company or things like that.
Like going back to retail therapy, like who benefits from that? Not you. Like,
not if you're doing it without a good intention, I think.
Yeah,
if you're just doing it to fill something.
There can be healthy retail therapy.
Yeah.
They're like, nothing we're saying is absolute.
No,
it's never like this is always the case.
I think that they know.
Okay. Sometimes, I know. Yeah.
They're
just
good.
Being hyper clear
about it.
They got
the last
They've got the nuance.
Video. They understand the nuance that we don't. Yeah. We're not, nothing we say is a rule.
We don't do things in
hard
absolute.
And fast.
Yeah.
Yeah.
But I think it's just, being hyper aware of that is super... I think that's part of self-care.
And it is so important to take care of yourself and don't do the things that will make you overall happier and better and be, being better to the people around you. Part of self-care is introspection, in my opinion. And really something we were talking about with our look back to 2018 is like growth and personal growth. And it's like doing work on yourself and being really exploratory and honest in your own behavior, to me, is a really important part of self-care, because how are you treating yourself? How are you treating the people around you? Those are important things to think about.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
And I think if you use those as your guiding lights and like be cynical about the branding, you know, do that and then take that as your guiding light. We should just
now come out with a t-shirt that says self-care on it. Can you imagine?
I can imagine.
Great.
Let's do it.
Look forward to that.
Ignore everything. You know what would make you feel better? Giving me money. I think is like, if we really want to get down to some Buddhism, is like you relieve yourself of wealth
by giving it to her.
I'll take care of it. I'm okay.
There was this shot.
This is how cults work.
Yes. There was this shot in Spider-Man Into the Spider-Verse, and it was like just a really quick shot of Miles swinging by a building, and it said, "The Trust Us Bank." And I think about that all the time.
Oh, okay.
Because it was just the Trust Us Bank.
I thought it was Trust US.
I think that it is, but it's like the Trust Us Bank.
Gotcha.
There's a double meaning, I think, there.
Mm-hmm. We're still talking about Spider-Man because it was good. You know what I liked in Spider-Man? A little visual Easter egg. I liked the alternate universe Chance the Rapper poster.
Oh, the Rapper?
Yeah, Luck the Rapper. He's got the little 4 on his hat.
That was good stuff.
I like that. I would buy that hat. I would buy a little...
I'll look for it for you.
Little fake Chance hat.
Yeah.
Good.
Well, as always, if you have a question that you would like to have answered, please...
Yeah, send it to...
That. Right here.
And we'll definitely, we read all of them again. We read all of them. We answer the ones that tend to be shorter.
Yeah. But, anything that you think would be good to answer in a video. And I will say we do generally try to answer ones that are repeat questions. Like if I'm seeing, not from the same person, but if I'm seeing a theme across of like a lot of people have asked this kind of question, then I usually pick those ones too. Mm-hmm. Yeah. Mm-hmm. Well, hopefully next time we see you, we'll
be less sick.
And hopefully you are too if you're sick.
Yeah. If you're sick, feel better. Take care of yourself.
Yeah.
Be kind to yourself. And sometimes that means getting up and going to get vegetables.
Are you looking at me when
I don't know.
I've eaten all my vegetables, I'll have you know. I've eaten all of them. Broccoli, celery, other one. You name it.
You got you had other one.
Other one.
You had some good fried other one.
Okay, bye you guys.
Bye.